I would argue the thing that we really need to be concerned with is not only is there a ton of racism, but the more pernicious thought might be that white folks really believe they are now the ones who are living under threat. We are the marginalized, especially white Christians. They're the victims now of the system. So we've gone even further through the looking glass. But anyway,
Pete, Justice Alito has said that on numerous occasions. It's an unbelievable thing. We know affirmative action is still needed because of facts and figures that I put together once in a blog post for Dorf on Law called Institutional Racism in America. And at every level of government, in almost every state, blacks are wholly, and Hispanics to some degree, are wholly unrepresented. The amazing thing about the Harvard case is the group that brought that case is also the group that brought a case against the University of Texas back in 2016. It's the group that has brought a bunch of affirmative action cases. Harvard is 27% Asian and like 11% black. I don't really understand the argument that somehow Harvard discriminates against Asian students. I just don't understand it, especially because the premise of all these arguments is that GPAs and SATs, or in graduate school, graduate tests, that if you just look at those things, blacks get in with lower scores. But and which they do, I'm not arguing that. But the thing is, Harvard doesn't just look at those things. Chapel Hill doesn't just look at those things. There are a lot of things that go into admissions decisions, like if you're from Wyoming, you have a better chance of getting into Harvard than if you're from New York. If you are a great violinist, you're likely to get in. If you are even a great stand-up comic with a record of being a great stand-up comic, my guess is you can get into Harvard.
Well, what about the kid who, maybe he had it rough growing up, maybe he had a single parent, maybe there was drugs, there was abuse, sure. But then in high school, he turned it all around and he's doing really well. And he's like the greatest person you want because his life story is just a phenomenal turnaround. You definitely want him at your school. I don't give a crap what his grades are. Look how he turned his life around. What about that kid?
Harvard, that kid is more likely to get into Harvard and Chapel Hill as well.